How many games will the young and fresh Houston Texans win in 2023? A new head coach with DeMeco Ryans, a new future star quarterback in CJ Stroud. How many games will the Texans win in 2023? It's the start of something special. Will they show promise in 2023? Gronk, spike that like button and comment below how many games you believe the Texans will win this year, where they'll finish in the AFC South, and how hopeful you are for the future of Texans football. Let's go. The Texans are one of those teams that I really want to do better. I really want them to win more games this year. I really want them to be successful. I really think they have potential this year, a lot more potential than they've had over the last couple of seasons. But when I break down their schedule and go game by game, it's really difficult for me to actually give them victories, wins, because there's so many X factors to their roster, to their team, to their organization. There's so many wild cards. Like, I love CJ Stroud, but how good is he in his first year? How's DeMeco Ryans going to be as a coach? I like him, but is he going to change this defense overnight? How good's Will Anderson going to be? How much are these young players going to take a step forward? Do they have any receivers that are any good? There's a lot of questions about the Texans. So let's go through game by game, and I'll explain what a good season would look like for the Texans. I think this is going to be the most promising season you've had in a long time, even if it doesn't mean it's a lot of wins. Okay, so let's go through it. So it begins with the Baltimore Ravens. I would expect to lose this game, and this is maybe going to be the toughest game of the season for a variety of factors, because you play Baltimore, a physical football team that always is notoriously known for being amazing in the preseason. They're always ready for week one. They're always blowing people out in week one. And it's because John Harbaugh has this team prepared. They have a really good defense, a really confusing defense, and also they've got Lamar Jackson and new weapons, and their home crowd's going to be hype. This is a very tough game for the Houston Texans. Then in week number 2, I have you losing to the Colts. The reason for this, I think the Colts will be better early in the year than the Texans, but I think the Texans are going to be better later in the year. So I think the Colts, with Richardson, they'll be able to run like some run stuff, some power running stuff with the quarterback. They won't have to rely a ton on him throwing the football down the field. And I think their talent is like more veterans. They've got a wealth of talent on both sides of the ball. I think it's easier to see them be successful early rather than the Texans as a team that's going to have to take time to grow. Okay, especially a guy like CJ Stroud, where it's based on timing, it's based on accuracy, it's based on knowing your receivers, things like that. Richardson's just an athlete. Okay, so that's why I have the Colts. Then week 3, I got Jacksonville. I think they're the best team in your division. I think they're one of the best teams in the AFC. Trevor Lawrence, all that stuff. Not much to explain there. Then you got week number 4 against the Steelers. Steelers are going to be tough. Why? Well, because they've got a veteran defense, a great pass rush, and a defense that's confusing for young quarterbacks to pick up notoriously that. And then their offense should be a little bit better. Now, this isn't a game that I would rule out that you have no chance in winning, not like Baltimore, but I do feel like the Steelers should win. Then I've got the Atlanta Falcons beating the Texans. See, this is kind of depressing. I don't like this. Now, this is a game that I think you can win. Because I think Atlanta's defense, we still have a lot of questions about it. If Stroud's starting to click, I think he can throw the ball against this defense. And I do feel like if the Texans can stop the run this season, they have a chance. The problem is, I'm not sure if they'll be able to consistently slow down the Falcons' running approach, which I think they're going to be one of the best, if not the best, running team in the NFL. They have an excellent offensive line, Bijan Robinson, a great offensive play caller from that standpoint in Arthur Smith. So I think they're just going to be tough, especially in their home building. Then you've got week 6 against the Saints. This is another game that you could potentially upset them, but I'm going to go with the Saints. Like, guys, I hate doing this, but this is just the case, okay? And then we've got Carolina after the bye. I've got Carolina, okay? Bryce Young, they're the better team. They've got more talent, all that stuff. Like, I hate doing this. I'm just going down it. But we'll get to the good stuff. We'll get to the good stuff. Don't you worry. Okay? So this is where the Texans are going to start to get a lot better. I could certainly see them beating the Bucs. The Bucs is the first game where I say maybe you are just as good as them, if not better than them. Now, I think you're clearly going to lose to the Bengals. I don't really need to explain that. I think you're definitely going to beat the Cardinals, okay? I think you have to beat the Cardinals because you have their pick, okay? Now, again, guys, this is just my opinion based on what I know now. And it's hard because I don't know a lot about the Texans. And nobody knows a lot about the Texans. I have the Bucs winning, and the reason for that is Todd Bowles' defensive scheme. I just feel like when you're a rookie quarterback and you're specifically a pocket quarterback like CJ is, and you guys know how much I like CJ. If you watch this channel, you know. The problem is, with Bowles' scheme, he blitzes people from everywhere. He's going to drop back in a million different zone blitz coverages that he's never seen in his life. Like Vita Vea's dropping back to linebacker, and Devin White's blitzing up the A-gap, and this guy's doing that. So you could win if your defense shows up, but I think that's a tough matchup for a young quarterback. That's why I have the Bucs. Okay, so later in the year, this is where I think you start to play a lot better. I think Jacksonville sweeps you guys. I think Denver wins. I think the Jets win. But then you start to get, pretty competitive. I think you're going to win down the stretch here. So I think you're going to beat the Titans. I think you're going to beat the Browns. I think you're going to beat the Colts. So I think you're going to finish the season strong here. You're probably going to split with the Titans. But I have you losing to the Jets and Aaron Rodgers in New York. Fair enough. I have you losing to Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, although I will say that's a game that you could win. And I have you getting swept by Jacksonville. But I have you splitting with the Titans, beating Deshaun Watson because, yeah, let's do it. And then the Colts, I think you're going to beat them to end the year. So I think there's going to be a lot of promise coming out of the season once you see how you finish the season. D'Amico's going to have the team going. The young players are going to start to ascend and understand the NFL. CJ is going to start to get it. The offense is going to start to click. And you're going to be like, why didn't we start our season this way? But when you look at this schedule, it's not super easy. Obviously, you play Jacksonville twice. You play Baltimore. You play the Steelers. You play the Saints and the Panthers that I think will both be pretty good teams. You play the Bengals. You play the new and improved Sean Payton Broncos. You play the Browns. So it's not an easy schedule. I don't think the Texans are going to be a team that all of a sudden they get these first round picks, they get a new quarterback, and they're going to ascend to the next level. Is it possible they do that? I think it is possible. Is it likely? No, it's unlikely. I think they still need a season. I'm worried about their receiving core. I'm worried about just young quarterback. New offense, new defense, new coaching staff, a lot of new defense. So a lot of questions, a lot of wild cards. There are some games here that you could win. There are some games. Could you beat the Colts twice? Yes. Could you beat Jacksonville once? Yeah, maybe. Could you beat the Steelers? Maybe. Could you beat the Falcons? Maybe. Could you beat the Bucs? Certainly. Could you beat the Broncos? Maybe. There's a lot of games here. I could see you winning up to 7 games this year, but it's probably going to be between the 3 to 6 range. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys think. It's Mitch. Want to give you more wins. I just can't based on the information we know now. Let me know your prediction in the comment section below. It's Mitch, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.